Okay. Welcome and thank you for joining our August board meeting. My name is Leah Cruzy. I am the board chair and I'm joined this evening by our vice chair, Jim Sandman, our treasurer, Chantel Wright, our secretary, Dr. Ricardo Ganjam, Shakura Adamafanian, and Nick Rodriguez. I hope you've all had a great summer and are ready for back to school. I am so excited that students across the district are back and are ready to learn and that their schools are ready to receive them. While this is a season of new beginnings for school, it is unfortunately the last board meeting for our longest serving board member. Dr. Ricardo Ganjam has been a devoted member of the board for nearly 8 years, serving as board secretary for these past few crucial years. 5 years ago, Dr. Ganjam reflected that it's rewarding to be part of a board that supports equity for students and has a commitment to ensuring that school leaders have the flexibility to educate. I have had the privilege to learn about Ricardo's motivation to serve over the years we have served together. I've learned that her passion for education comes from her upbringing. She shared with us a few years ago that she is the daughter of immigrant parents who came to this country in elementary school. And for her and her family, education was always ingrained as something to value and cherish. She remembers her dad telling her that no matter what, education was the one thing no one could ever take away from you. Isn't that the truth? Ricardo is deeply committed to this city, its students, and its families, and that's why she's been continually focused on capacity and the connection between innovative educational opportunities and high-quality choice options, and wants to make sure that DC PCSB and public charter schools have the capacity to deliver on what they promise. Ricardo, thank you for your service and for your constant and unwavering commitment. I think there may be another board member too who might want to give some brief remarks about Ricardo's tenure.
I'd like to say something to Ricardo. Ricardo, thank you for being such a thoughtful and perceptive and pragmatic board member. You've always brought a deep appreciation for the practical consequences of the decisions we make for students and for their families. You've brought a very important perspective informed by your rich personal experiences. It's a pleasure and a real honor to work with such a clear thinker and a decision maker of such integrity. I think you're a real public servant. I think the district is incredibly lucky to have had you serving on this board, and I feel personally very grateful for having had the opportunity to work with you. We'll miss you.
May I go?
Please.
Ricardo, I am so sad that we haven't had as much time to work together, but I just want to publicly acknowledge how awesome you are as a leader, but then more importantly, as a new kid on the block, you're taking the time to chat with me and connect with me and give me some insight in terms of how you've managed the role was really helpful. So thank you for all that you've done and participated in, and so how you supported our city, and I wish you well.
Yeah, and I just want to co-sign Ricardo. We've known each other for a long time, just recently for the last year as fellow board members, but you've been on the board since I was running Achievement Prep. And so just thank you for your dedication, always being there, always focused and trying to make the best decisions for children and for our cities. And now you get the opportunity to actually sit back, well, maybe a little bit of an empty nester and enjoy life just a little bit. So kudos to you and thank you for your service, not only as a former school leader, fellow board member, but also resident of DC. It's not easy work every single month with really tough decisions. So thank you.
Yeah, Ricardo, thank you so much for, I think, lighting the way for those of us who came onto the board last year. I know I really benefited from your time and your expertise and just willingness to spend time with all of us as we were sort of getting used to what it meant to take on this role and to do this work well. We will miss you a great deal, but it's not, I mean, I didn't get to sort of experience the longer history that some of my colleagues did with you. But as I understand it, that history probably continues into the future. And there are other important areas where your service is needed to this city and to the district and to all of its people. And so just thank you for continuing to do that. I'll look forward to just staying in touch with you as you do that work. And congratulations.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Can I just say one thing? Thank you so much for the really generous and kind comments. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve with you all and to really support the children and families of our DC Public Charter School students. So thank you for the opportunity. I think back on what I'm most proud of, and there are a couple of things I just wanted to highlight. And particularly our work around race, equity, diversity, and inclusion to really focus on and magnify and engage all voices in our practices and processes and decisions. And I'm so glad that we're all on the same page about that and really moving that forward as we continue with the Public Charter School Board. So just thank you. We have an amazing staff at the Public Charter School Board who has made participating on this board easier at times, right? Really explaining context of things and being so thoughtful and considerate in the recommendations. So I just really appreciate this opportunity. I feel like it's an amazing place to be in Washington, DC, where we are viewed as a leader in the public charter schools and continuing to progress and bring creative and innovative solutions to our students is going to be very important as we continue to come out of the pandemic. So thank you. It's been a joy to serve with you all, and just thanks.
Well, I think we still have some more thoughts to share with you, Dr. Ganjam. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our Executive Director, Dr. Michelle Walker-Davis.
Thank you, Chair Cruzy. As you all know, the 2023-24 school year has officially started for quite a few pre-K, elementary, middle school students, and adult learners. So over the next few weeks, students will be returning to school, and I encourage our viewing audience to check our website for a full list of the first day of school for all charter networks. I personally want to wish every student, teacher, and school leader a happy, healthy, and safe school year. You'll be hearing more about the back to school activities in our upcoming board meeting, but just really wanted to get us all off to a happy and healthy start. And to you, Dr. Ricarda Ganjam, I want to sincerely thank you for all of your hard work, consistent guidance, and valuable input as a board member. The entire PCSB staff and I would like to thank you for your dedication and solid counsel that you offered the staff and me as a member of this board. I remember the first time I met you, it was when the board was considering who would be the next executive director for DC PCSB. I met you during that interview process when you were a member of the interview panel. And there are many things I will remember about you, but most of all, I remember your love of public charter school high school graduations. And as you know, we always want to have someone from the board and staff really confer the diplomas, but no matter how busy you were with other matters, you always said yes to attending not one, but two or more multiple graduations during the season. So I know how much that meant not just to have to have our board represent schools and to confer the diplomas, but most of all to the students and families who were graduating. So thank you for doing that extra bit of service. Dr. Ganjam, you have been a vocal voice on the revised accountability framework. That is work that I really appreciate having you bring your perspective and professional expertise to this work. You showed up consistently to meetings, you asked probing and important questions, and most of all, you consistently demonstrated your deep appreciation for the complexity and importance of this work. You always made it clear that aspirations are not enough and that schools also need to have the capacity and resources to get the job done. Ricarda, you always kept your eye on the ball, and I will definitely miss you as a member of this board. So thank you, Chair Cruzy, for giving me an opportunity to share those few words, and I will turn it back to you.
All right. Well, this is when we move to the public comment portion of our agenda, but this evening we do not have a registered comment speakers or audiovisual submissions, so we will proceed to a presentation of the proposed English learner monitoring policy revisions. And for that, I will yield the floor to Tricia Francisco, who's our specialist for equity and access. Welcome, Tricia.
Thank you, Chair Cruzy. Hello, my name is Trisha Francisco. I am a specialist in the School Performance Department. This is a public hearing to discuss revisions to DC PCSB's English Learner Monitoring Policy. Proposed changes include 1, updating the policy's name to Emerging Multilingual Learner Audit and Monitoring Policy. 2, adding criteria and procedures to proactively identify and address schools whose practices and systems may not equitably serve emerging multilingual learners. And 3, articulating DC PCSB's audit procedures and post-audit interventions. Specifically, staff added language to expand and clarify the menu of DC PCSB responses to align with other DC PCSB policies, including the Data and Document Submission Policy, the Mandatory School Notification Policy, the Special Education Audit Policy, and the Data Audit Policy. DC PCSB opened the policy for public comment on July 17th, and the public comment window closes tonight. DC PCSB did not receive any public comments, and I am happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Trisha. I'll first open this up to the board. Chantal, do you have a question?
Yeah. Thank you, Trisha. I heard you say that there was no public comment to date. What stakeholders or organizations did share any input onto the revisions of the policy? And if there were any, how did that input inform any of the adjustments that you're proposing?
Yeah, so we actually shared this policy with our leaders at our Emerging Multilingual Learner Professional Learning Community in June. They got to see the policy beforehand, provide input, and we walked over the criteria with each of them. We also met with OSSI multiple times to discuss the policy, and all of the stakeholders who saw the policy gave general agreement that the new and updated criteria really allowed schools to take a deeper look at their practices and provide them some guidance at things they should be aware of. So we took this feedback from them and incorporated it into our policy. And some of the adjustments we made were really just to make sure that our criteria were clear and accessible to any stakeholders who would receive the policy. So then the guidance is clear on what's needed to properly serve emerging multilingual learners, as well as what criteria schools may meet if they do have to receive an audit. And if an audit is conducted, what would that look like? So a lot of stakeholders got to have eyes on this before we opened it up to public comment.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Trisha, you mentioned that this will enable PCSB to take some proactive steps. Can you share with us kind of how this new and updated criteria do enable staff to observe and identify kind of patterns, and what are the actions? What are the specific actions we can take if what may be inequitable access is identified?
Yeah, so one of the things that we did add was language around our emerging multilingual learner assurance letter. So we actually redesigned this letter to incorporate questions that target the quality of program and services. So we added a lot of open-ended questions for schools to answer. And this assurance letter is due to us in July, and we review it prior to the school year. And by adding this letter into our policy, we're really able to use it as a base for looking at the evidence of practice at schools. Once we receive the letter, we review it, and it allows us to kind of see how we can further support schools before we even get to the beginning of the school year, get to maybe, improperly serving or finding those inequitable practices, because we really wanted to become more proactive than reactive. So that was one of our approaches. Another approach that we added was we added language on receiving any non-compliant data. And this, by receiving any non-compliant data, we were able to conduct an audit at any time. So if OSSI received something and they wanted to share it with us and we deemed it reasonable, then we could conduct an audit. And that allows us to be more hands-on and take more action than just waiting on consistently, getting all of the data or just waiting for something to happen. So we really wanted to make sure the action and the criteria that we were adding were being more proactive than reactive.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the work that you and the team have done on this. The sense I get from looking at this is that it feels like an attempt to strengthen the policy and a way to, I think, better protect learners and families that fall into these categories. Can you say a little bit more about sort of specific ways in which the changes that you're proposing will strengthen those protections and strengthen the way that we care for these families?
Yeah, so I would say the response procedures and the audit procedures are very clear now. I think prior to the policy changes, they're a little bit more casual. So we added a lot of, language on what is the audit procedure, what does it look like, as well as what support we can offer and what technical assistance we can offer. So then we can provide, kind of strengthen the policy. So there's a little bit more teeth to it other than we're giving you an audit. We wanted to be very clear on what this audit is, what happens when you receive the audit, and what are some next steps to remedy the problem so then it doesn't happen again.
Great. There's an important title change and terminology shift as well. And I know there are different kind of terms we've used over the years. Can you say a little bit how you landed on this one, English multilingual learners, and how that's an evolution from past terms we've used?
Yeah, so we chose to use the term emerging multilingual learner because we really wanted to focus on the assets that these students bring, focus on the existing language skills that they have versus focusing on the fact that they're learning English. And I know that we specifically chose multilingual versus bilingual to be more inclusive. I know not all families will, maybe they have multiple languages at home. I know as a former L student myself, we had 3 languages at home. So to me, English would have been like my 4th language. So we really wanted to be inclusive to the different experiences that students have and that they bring into the classroom versus focusing on the fact that these students need to learn English.
Great, thank you.
Tricia, thank you so much for all of this explanation. Our student population and kind of school, we have a rich variety in school choice options, as you know, and the kinds of school and programmatic options that families choose vary substantially. How will this be rolled out? And how will school populations that may have a very, very small population of multiple language learners understand how to best serve that student population and that this policy has gone into place?
Yeah, so we plan on rolling this out by informing all of the leaders that, this policy has now been passed. And we have our PLC, and during our PLC, we offer leaders, not just EML leaders, but leaders of any enrollment size of emerging multilingual learners to attend so that we can discuss this policy further. So we do offer ways for them to ask more questions about the policy. We're also working with OSSI to make sure that our policies are aligned and that our communications are aligned. So there are multiple ways for them to learn further about this policy and to get further support on how this policy can affect them.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Seeing no further questions, this concludes the public hearing portion of our agenda. Thank you, Tricia.
Thank you.
And board, may I have a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
I move to approve the August 21st board meeting agenda.
I second.
Thank you. I will take a roll call vote. Jim Sandman,
Aye.
Chantel Wright,
Aye.
Ricardo Ganjum,
Aye.
Shakura Adamathanian,
Aye.
Nick Rodriguez,
Aye.
and I am an aye. Wonderful. Next on our agenda is a charter amendment request from Apple Tree Public Charter School. For that, I yield the floor to Hannah Cousineau, Senior Manager of Sector Planning Compliance. Welcome, Hannah. And I would also
Hello.
like to invite representatives from Apple Tree to provide remarks regarding this amendment request. I think that we have Jamie Miles joining this evening.
Don't see Jamie in the queue. I can get started then. Maybe she'll be joining us. Oop. Okay. Hello, my name is Hannah Cousineau. I am a senior manager in the school performance department. DCPCSB staff recommends the board approve the charter agreement amendment request from Apple Tree Early Learning Public Charter School and approve DCPCSB board chair Leah Cruzy to sign the amendment on the board's behalf. The school seeks to replicate its program at an existing facility. Apple Tree Public Charter School is approved to operate a facility at 4900 Massachusetts Avenue Northwest as part of Apple Tree Public Charter School, Oklahoma Avenue for school year 2023-24. The school requests to convert that facility into a standalone campus for school year 2024-25 and beyond. The school is not requesting an enrollment ceiling increase. You discussed this request with the school during the July 2023 public meeting. DCPCSB did not receive any public comment on this request.
Okay, we had a good conversation about this at the last board meeting. And I suppose proceeding with this item does not require Ms. Miles' attendance. So with that in mind, Hannah, are there any updates from our last board meeting that are helpful for us?
Nope.
Okay, well, with that in mind, if board members are open to it, we could proceed with the motion here. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the charter amendment request of Apple Tree Public Charter School and approve the DC PCSB board chair to sign the amendment on the board's behalf.
Do I have a second? Thank you, Jim. Okay, I will take a roll call vote. Jim Sandman,
Aye.
Chantal Wright,
Aye.
Ricardo Ganjam,
Aye.
Adam Rathanian,
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Thank you, Hannah. Next on our agenda is a charter amendment request from the Family Place Public Charter School. Also discussed last month, and for that, I will yield the floor to Bijan Lane, Sector Planning and Compliance Specialist. Welcome, Bijan.
Thank you.
I would also like to invite representatives from the school to provide remarks regarding this amendment request. I think we have Haley Wiggins. Welcome, Haley.
Hello, my name is Bijan Lane. I am a specialist in the school performance department. DCPCSB staff recommends the board approve the charter agreement amendment request from the Family Place Public Charter School and approve DCPCSB board chair, Leah Cruzy to sign the amendment on the board's behalf. The school seeks to increase its enrollment ceiling by 92 students over time beginning in school year 2024-25, reaching a maximum enrollment of 275 students in school year 2028-29. You discussed this request with the school during the July 2023 public meeting. DCPCSB received one public comment in support of this request.
Thank you, Bijan. Ms. Wiggins, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
I know we had.
I'm not sure if there were, oh, sorry, go ahead.
So we really enjoyed the comments shared by members of your school community last month, and just wanted to invite if there's any kind of updates you wanted to share with us. Otherwise, we can proceed.
I don't believe that there are any updates. We did Nothing concrete at all yet, but we did put an offer on a new facility, which would obviously be coming up for discussion much later on, but it's part of our long-term plan. So that's what's highest on our priority right now. But I don't think there's anything specific that has changed since our July meeting.
All right, well, thank you, and every step matters. So congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for your great presentation last month and for your brevity this month.
You're welcome anytime. Thank you.
Okay, well, with that, board members, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the charter amendment request of the Family Place Public Charter School and approve the DC PCSB board chair to sign the amendment on the board's behalf.
Second.
All right, thank you for that. Jim Sandman,
Aye.
Chantel Wright,
Aye.
Carter Ganjum,
Aye.
Laura Adama-Fenian,
Aye.
Nick Rodriguez.
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations, Ms. Wiggins.
Thank you very much.
Next on our agenda is a charter amendment request from Youth Build Public Charter School, which we also discussed that last month. And welcome back, Hannah, Senior Manager of Sector Planning Compliance. And also I'd like to invite Claire Liebert from the school to provide remarks regarding this amendment request.
I'm promoting Ms. Liebert right now.
I'll start with the introduction and then I'll yield the floor to her. Hello again. DC-PCSB staff recommends the board vote to approve the charter amendment request from Youth Build DC Public Charter School and approve DC-PCSB board chair Leah Cruzy to sign the amendment on the board's behalf. The school seeks to increase its enrollment ceiling by 28 students over time beginning in school year 2024-25. Reaching a maximum enrollment of 150 students in school year 2027-28. You discussed this request with the school during the July 2023 public meeting. DC-PCSB did not receive any public comment on this request.
Welcome back, Ms. Liebert. We had a great conversation last month and just wanted to create this space if you had any updates for us. If you do not, please don't worry about it and we can proceed with the vote.
No, just thank you again for considering our application. And we actually started our first day of school last week. So we are trucking right along.
All right, congratulations on back to school happening. So I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the charter amendment request of Youth Build Public Charter School and approve the DC PCSB board chair to sign the amendment on the board's behalf.
Second.
Thank you for that. Jim Sandman,
Aye.
Chantel Wright,
Aye.
Ricardo Ganjum,
Aye.
Shakura Adamathanian,
Aye.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
and Cruzy is an aye. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on school start. Ready.
Yes.
Have a great year.
So
Great.
much.
Next on our agenda is a charter amendment request from Maya Angelou Public Charter School. For that, I will yield the floor to Starling Temp, our goal specialist for data and accountability. Welcome, Starling. And I will also invite representatives from the school to provide remarks regarding this amendment request. We've got a number here. So Nora Shetty, Azalea Spate, Jasmine Gross, Kamal Wright Cunningham, Chantel Wright Cunningham, and Clarice Mendoza Davis. Welcome, Team Maya.
Thank you, Chair Cruzy. Hello, my name is Starling Temp. I am a specialist in the school performance department. Tonight, the board will vote on Maya Angelou Public Charter School's request to remove its high school's writing progress goal. If approved, this change will take effect beginning in school year 2023-24. DC PCSB recognizes Maya Angelou Public Charter School High School as an alternative school in accordance with its Alternative Accountability Framework, or AAF. DC PCSB does not require AAF schools to adopt a writing charter goal. No other public charter school in DC PCSB's portfolio has a writing charter goal. Further, DC PCSB does not measure writing performance in its accountability framework. The removal of Maya Angelou Public Charter School High School's writing progress goal does not conflict with any existing DC PCSB policy or practice regarding charter goal standards. MyWrite is the third writing assessment platform the school chose for this goal. The first two assessments the school intended to use were either never published or discontinued. MyWrite is a formative assessment. In its amendment application and during the public hearing last month, Maya Angelou Public Charter School emphasized that using MyWrite to measure growth has been challenging because it does not adequately capture students' gains. The school began its search for an alternative writing assessment platform in school year 2018-19. It considered platforms such as NoRedInk and Intellimetric. Maya Angelou Public Charter School concluded the platforms were not rigorous, nor referenced culturally appropriate or suitable for its student population as an alternative school. As such, DC PCSB staff recommends the board vote to approve the school's charter goals amendment request. Representatives from the school are available to answer any further questions the board may have.
Thank you, Starling, and welcome back, Dr. Mendoza Davis and team. We had a thorough conversation about this last month, and there may be no updates. Wanted to invite you to share any if there are any, but if there are none, we proceed.
Thank you, Chair Crucy and members of the Public Charter School Board. Good to be with you this evening. I think Starling's summary captured everything. I think now, as we prepare to welcome students back, and we're in the throes of professional development, August professional development with our team at the high school, we are still continuing to focus on the lever of writing across the curriculum and making sure that all teachers and staff understand our 6 traits approach to writing instruction in the high school. So even though we've have the proposal here that we have before you this evening, as the former English teacher, writing is not going anywhere when it comes to that being an instructional priority for our scholars at Maya's High School.
Thank you. This is a busy week.
Yes, ma'am.
Colleagues, I will now entertain a motion.
I move to approve the charter amendment request of Maya Angelou Public Charter School and approve the DC PCSB board chair to sign the amendment on the board's behalf.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Jim Sandman,
Aye.
Chantel Wright,
Aye.
Ricardo Ganjem,
Aye.
Shakura Adamathanian,
Aye.
Nick Rodriguez.
Aye.
Susie is also an aye. Congratulations. We'll see you again soon.
Have a great year, Maya. Keep doing good work.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your support. Greatly appreciated. Looking forward to keeping in touch.
Bye-bye.
Our final charter amendment on tonight's agenda is from KIPP DC Public Charter School. As Starling is already in place, I would like to invite representatives from KIPP DC to provide remarks regarding this amendment request. That's Shannon Hodge, Susan Toth, and Edmund Hahn.
Tonight, the board will vote on KIPP DC Public Charter School's request to modify its 2 mission-specific survey goals. First, the school proposes changing the response rate requirement for its KIPP DC family survey from 50% network-wide to 30% at each campus. Second, the school proposes replacing its teacher survey with a new Teacher Projects Insight Survey with a focus on performance in the domain of diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI. Further, the school proposes measuring DEI outcomes on the Insight Survey at the campus level rather than the LEA level. The proposed goals, if approved, will take effect beginning in school year 2023-24. During last month's public hearing, KIPP DC staff and DC PCSB board members engaged in a robust discussion regarding this request. The board voiced their concerns with the proposed decrease in the family survey response rate requirement. Most notably, they emphasized the importance of family input and questioned whether the current goal, as written, is the most appropriate method for measuring family satisfaction if the school struggles to obtain survey responses. The proposed shift to campus level response rates for both goals aims to maintain goal rigor while providing more representative data across the LEA. During the public hearing, the school noted that research deems 30% to be on the higher end of typical response rates for external surveys. Further, the school argued decreasing the response rate for its family survey from 50% to 30% is still appropriately challenging when paired with the shift to campus level measurement. KIPP DC Public Charter Schools school year 2021-22 family survey data supports this claim. Only one campus met the proposed 30% response rate. 12 campuses had response rates between 20 and 29%, and seven campuses had response rates under 20%. Further, the school noted that family engagement peaked during the COVID-19 pandemic and has since declined, despite efforts to shorten the survey, send reminders, and use different survey distribution methods. The school has prioritized DEI for the past several years through regional equity goals, DEI professional development days, and teacher committees focused on culturally responsive teaching. Revising their teacher survey goal to capture DEI performance will allow the school to align internal priorities with an external metric. The goal would have a minimum 40% response rate requirement. This response rate is publisher defined and research-based. As such, DC PCSB staff recommends the board vote to approve the school's charter goals amendment request. Representatives from the school are available to answer any further questions the board may have.
Thank you, Starling, and thank you for that recap. We did have a thorough discussion at that last board meeting, and I want to make sure that board members have an opportunity to ask further questions and engage with KIPP directly on the staff's recommendation and any further questions this group may have.
I don't have any questions, but I want to follow up on comments I made at the last meeting. I would love to be able to get a higher response rate to the family survey, but wishing won't make it so. And our mandating it won't make it so. I'm persuaded by the actual experience KIPP has had to date and by the research that everyone has done on what a valid response rate is to draw conclusions from. I support the recommendation.
So I actually disagree with Jim, and I think that KIPP DC and the role that you play in our sector, and as the largest LEA, probably serving the largest number of families, I would like to see you be more innovative and thoughtful about a goal that truly captures how your families and the community is feeling about the impact you're making in their lives. I believe with all the smart people on that team and the number of families that you have the honor to serve and engage, you could come up with a really innovative way to measure parent satisfaction and actually serve, as you've done in many ways as the largest LEA, as a model and or a trendsetter for other LEAs trying to figure out this same thing. I think our community, their input matters, and it matters so much to you that you put it in as a very specific measure, a mission-specific goal that you included. So I think it's about meeting the community where it's at and figuring out a way to reach them. And if it's not through survey, then figure out another way in which you can say, given who we serve, the large number that we serve, their voice matters, their opinion matters, and we've made it so as our mission and our charter goals. So I actually do not support lowering the threshold. I support you all thinking more creatively and innovatively about this particular measure.
Thank you, Chantel. Do any other board members have comments or questions?
I won't belabor the point. I think we had a robust conversation last time, and I shared my thoughts and opinions. But I join board member Wright in the same sentiment, and I will not be supporting the lowering of the threshold for the family survey as well.
Well, I think you're hearing us express that obviously it's the same thing we said a month ago, right? That we were sort of, I think, troubled and concerned about it. But like, I agree with where Jim's coming out. I think all I'd add there is it feels as if it's going to be a stretch for you to meet this goal too, right? You're going to be working on that. And so two things can be true at the same time. What Board Member Wright and Board Member Adamofanian both said, either way, there's going to have to be some innovation in terms of what it takes to meet this goal, isn't there? No matter what, whether the goal is 30 or 40 or 50. And I think we would really be interested in hearing, right, like what it takes to engage families in this new era that we're navigating right now. And in learning from your experience in trying to get every campus, and in the end, of course, I think I made this point a month ago, right? In the result, if you meet your goal, will be an LEA-wide average that is higher than 30%. And so I think, it'll just be interesting to see how that plays out. And it would be great to, we check in with you often. And so I'm sure there will be opportunities to hear from you all about how that's playing out. But so again, you can see the mixed sentiments and feelings. So I'm sure you feel them as well. So the key here would be like, what does it take to meet the goal, right? And I think we'll all learn a lot from that. Thank you for your work on it. And Starling, thank you for your work to dive deep on it, to really, I think, just assure us, right, that this is, not all of us agree on this, but to assure some of us who are voting yes, that this is not a weakening of rigor in terms of the goal.
And Nick, I agree with the comments that you've made, and just building upon what everyone has said, I am comfortable with the adjustment of the threshold to 30%, and want to encourage KIPP to continue to look for other innovative ways to bring in the thoughts of the families in the school, whether that's through other qualitative data options and other relationship building opportunities with those key stakeholders in the school.
And I'll follow up by thanking all of my board members and Starling and the team for the thoughtful and thorough analysis on this. Having a meaningful finger on the pulse of how our families are feeling about the sector and each one of the school communities in which they choose to enroll their student is so important. So it does sound like it's going to be a challenge. The disaggregation by campus, I think, will yield some really interesting insights, and even the different techniques that may need to be deployed and tested to reach this still ambitious goal for you at each of those campuses will also yield some important insights as well. So I look forward to learning more. I've said this at, I think, each board member meeting this year, and I'm going to continue emphasizing it, that this city, this sector, and really this country has not yet lived through the maturity that we are entering into of how big LEAs are and how long we've been around. So we have to continue innovating and ensuring that showing the value that we seek to offer families and schools and communities and staff, because we're not just talking about parents here. We've got the two different requests you've got. So I support the staff request here, and look forward to learning a lot more here about how you seek to achieve this still ambitious goal and what you learn from it. So with that in mind, I will entertain a motion, but based on this discussion, I suggest that we address two parts of this school's request separately. Do I have a motion on the school's request to amend its family survey goal?
I move to approve the charter amendment request of KIPP DC Public Charter School to alter its family survey goal and approve the DC PCSB board chair to sign the amendment on the board's behalf.
Second.
Thank you very much. Jim Salmon.
Aye.
Chantel Wright.
Nay.
Ricardo Ganjan.
Aye.
Shakura Adamofanian.
Nay.
Nick Rodriguez.
Aye.
Leah Cruzy is also an aye. So the amendment passes 4 ayes, 2 nays. And second, do I have a motion on the school's request to amend its teacher survey goal?
I move to approve the charter amendment request of KIPP DC Public Charter School to alter its teacher survey goal and approve the DC PCSB board chair to sign the amendment on the board's behalf.
Second.
Thank you very much. Jim Sandman,
Aye.
Chantel Wright,
Aye.
Ricardo Gangem,
Aye.
Shakura Adamafanian,
Aye.
Nick Rodriguez,
Aye.
Leah Kuzi is also an aye. Starling, thank you very much. KIPP DC, thank you very much.
PIP team, I'm gonna still push you. You all are the largest LEA. Shannon, you know I'm gonna say it, Susan, Ed, like teach us, show us what to do to reach our families. They matter in their voices. So serve as a leader in that way. That's my personal charge. Thank you.
Chair Cruzy, if I may, I want to also name my internet is a little bit unstable, so I hope I don't break up here, but I just wanted to acknowledge the rich deliberation that this board engaged in last month and even the conversation today. I want to acknowledge the LEA in terms of putting the request forward and giving us data to wrestle with and to think about. And of course, I want to acknowledge Starling for doing her own research here and trying to wrestle with this. I mean, this is at the heart of what we do in the charter sector. I heard words like innovation. I heard commitment to parent and families. I heard the responsibility of our largest LEA to sort of chart a path forward. And so I just want to acknowledge that this is never easy work, but it is absolutely the right work. And I'm excited to be engaged with this board as we dig into this work. And again, true to form, Dr. Gangem to the last minute is engaging in this robust dialogue. So just really wanted to take a moment to say thank all of you, board, LEA and staff for doing what we do and doing it at a high quality. I know lots of people are looking at us here locally, but they're also looking at us nationally as we do this work. So thank you.
And I also know you guys started school last week, so you're probably also just like, really just let us get off the screen. So we get it. Good luck.
Good luck. Good luck this year.
Thank you so much.
All right, colleagues, I will now entertain a motion on the consent calendar.
I move to approve all the items on the consent calendar.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Jim Sandman,
Aye.
Chantel Wright,
Aye.
Ricardo Gangem,
Aye.
Shakura Adamafanian,
Aye.
Nick Rodriguez,
Aye.
Leah Kuzi is an aye. Is there any new business? Do I have to slow play all this so we don't lose Ricardo?
Well, I was going to say I might add new business, but Jim would not. He would not appreciate my brevity in that. So no new business.
I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn the August 21st, 2023 board meeting.
Second.
Jim Sandman,
Aye.
Chantel Wright,
Aye.
Ricardo Gangem,
Aye.
Shakura Adamafanian,
Very sad eye.
Nick Rodriguez,
Aye.
Leah Kuzi is an aye. Right.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Ricardo.
Thank you. Thank you all. Take care. See you soon. See you soon.
Take care.
All right.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.